In our first story, government is accusing the opposition National Democratic Congress of double standards in its call for a temporary ban on the importation of arms for private use. The NDC's call for the moratorium follows the recent import of a large cache of arms at the Tema Harbour. The party, in a statement on Wednesday, said it was alarmed government permitted the import of the consignment. Information Minister Kwadwo, however, named the NDC's James Agaga as the one who gave approval for importation of the cash for private use when he was Deputy Interior Minister days before handing over to the New Patriotic Party.
The permit under which these arms were imported was signed by the Honorable James Agaga, Member of Parliament, Deputy Minister for the Interior, on January 5th, 2017. So this permit we are talking about, which allowed these persons to import this cache of arms legally into the country, was issued on the 5th of January 2017 under the signature of the Honorable James Agaga. I have a copy of it here. I'll give a copy to you afterwards. And we find it strange that the very persons who issued the permit for the importation of these arms will today turn around and say that the Kwadwo administration has issued permits and therefore has to take the security situation of this country a lot more seriously than it is doing now. Where all of these points of alarm that they raise in this statement, all of these points of alarm that they raise, were they not known to them at the time that they were signing this permit? At the time that they were issuing this permit, all of these points of alarm, were they not known to them? And was the security of the state, which they are talking about today, non-existent at the time when they were issuing this permit? You can't approbate and reprobate. You can't do this. And then when a new administration rather comes in and is the one that takes the necessary efforts to secure the consignment and ensure that it's kept in a place and not necessarily in the hands of persons with doubtful character, then you turn around issuing statements as though something untoward has happened. So the first point we want to make is that indeed the permit that was issued by the NDSC administration. The second point is that it's curious that after the election of 2016, 2 days to the handing over on the 5th of January, at a time of the transition when we had agreed that all major transactions of this nature had to be referred to both sides of the transition team, they issued a permit, and I want to read to you. Permission is granted to YADCO to import the underlisted explosives and accessories for the use of their clients.
Right, we have a copy of the said letter, apparently signed by then Deputy Interior Minister James Agaga, and we're going to be sharing that, which it reads. Application has the headline, the application for permission to import safety cartridges, and it goes on. Reference is made to MS YADCO Ghana letter dated 8 July 2016 on the above subjects. Permission is hereby granted to MS YADCO to import the underlisted explosives and accessories for the use of their clients who are all engaged in mining and quarry sectors. 20,000 cases of 500 pieces of shotgun cartridges, 4,000 pieces of hunting shotguns, 500 boxes of percussion caps. The purpose of this note is to request you to issue the company with an import permit. This permit is not transferable, and this permit does not require the authorization of ECOWAS, and is signed Minister for the Interior, Honorable James Agaga, as Deputy Minister. Now, Mr. Agaga is unable to confirm or deny he signed the letter for the importation of the cash. He has been speaking with Evans Mensah on Top Story.
Evans, I wouldn't remember, but I have always maintained that the company in question is known to the Ministry of the Interior. And so if it turns out that the permit that was issued under my signature, I wouldn't have any thing to say about that.
You mean you will not deny it?
Clearly, I haven't seen the permit. If I see it and the signature is indeed mine, I will admit. But as I speak now, I have not seen the document the Honorable Minister for Information, Kwadwo Nkrumah, has in his custody and possession. If I see and indeed that signature turns to yes, I can confirmations. But as I talk to you, I haven't seen the document in question. say that the company in question, Yadco, has at all material times when we're in office known to the Ministry of the Interior as a licensed arms dealer. The Ministry of the Interior is a state entity as distinct from the NDC as a political party. So let us draw the distinction here. It's very important.
The fundamental question remains, did your government, yourself, sign off on this particular consignment of arms that we just witnessed last week that was seized?
Fairness, I have told you that I haven't seen the permit that is in the possession of Honorable Kwadwo Nkrumah.
You haven't seen it?
So documents that came under my signature were simply too voluminous.
Okay, no.
We need to, on the spur of the moment, know which permit came under my signature or not, can only be confirmed when I have seen the document that is in his possession.
Well, Minister Kwadwo Nkrumah, meanwhile, says the security agencies have taken charge of the weapons to ensure they don't get into the wrong hands.
Nonetheless, as the consignment arrived into the jurisdiction, in accordance with the standard practice, the consignment was duly inspected and has been delivered at a designated storage area. And state security agencies are taking the necessary steps to ensure that the consignment does not get into the hands of unauthorized persons. When they are done with their initial necessary assessments, any further information that we have on this will make available to the Ghanaian people. But for us, it is instructive to note that this permit under which this importation was done was issued by the NDC administration under the signature of the Honorable James Agaga 2 days to the handing over on the blind side of everybody. And the new administration has ensured that the consignment is inspected, received, kept at the designated storage area, and does not get into the hands of unauthorized persons. And any further information that we find following our immediate inquiries will be made available to the Ghanaian public.
The Attorney General is directing the Works and Housing Ministry to demand refund of overpayment as well as interest paid to the contractor working on the Segalemi housing project Aningo here in the Greater Accra region. The $200 million project to construct 5,000 housing units was awarded to Constructora OAS in February 2014, but the company has so far delivered 1,500 units, yet has been paid the entire contract sum. The Attorney General's directive is in response to a letter from the Works and Housing Ministry seeking advice on termination of the contract. Whilst rejecting the contractor's decision to terminate the agreement with government, describing it as unwarranted, the AG wants the matter referred to the appropriate authorities for criminal investigation. Now, 28,000 Ghanaians die annually due to air pollution. That's according to the World Health Organization. Many vehicles, unfortunately, contribute to this pollution through emission of poisonous exhaust fumes. The Environmental Protection Agency has vowed from June this year to clamp down on vehicles and motorbikes emitting dangerous fumes. Henry Kwesibadu has more in the following report.
Dangerous fumes. Exposure of carbon monoxide can cause headaches, dizziness, nausea and fatigue. Overexposure, however, could lead to death. Unfortunately, many vehicles and motorbikes in the country emit such poisonous fumes which can harm lives and the environment. With transportation being a major cause of air pollution in Ghana, the World Health Organization estimates that air pollution kills an alarming 28,000 Ghanaians in a year.
Air pollution today kills around 7 million people globally, and that is very much the case for Ghana and for Greater Accra region as well. In particular, for Greater Accra region, the initial estimates derived from the collaborative effort of the Urban Health Initiative show that every single year about 2,000 people die due to air pollution-related conditions. And what does that mean? Which are the diseases affected by air pollution? These are respiratory diseases, but also cardiovascular diseases, myocardial infarction, stroke, also lung cancer, pneumonia, particularly for children, but also for adults.
In densely congested traffic, drivers, passengers and pedestrians are exposed to a cocktail of harmful fumes. Acute respiratory illness caused by air pollution is one of the top 5 causes of outpatient hospital visits in the country. according to the Ghana Health Service.
Sometimes when people die and we are doing post-mortem, when we cut them open and we slice up the lungs, you see black dots in the lungs, telling you how much of these things they have inhaled over the course of their lifetime.
However, from June 2019, the Environmental Protection Agency says it has an elaborate plan to deal with the problem. Ebenezer Apa Sampong is Deputy Director of the agency.
We've been working to introduce some motor emission control systems or programs in this country. The first block is to do the studies which we have done to develop a standard for vehicle emissions, and fortunately that has been done together with the Ghana Standards Authority. So now we do have a national standards for vehicle emissions. Your vehicle will have to go through some remedial process to ensure that the engine is fixed, and then before you can be brought back onto the road. The standard certainly will be adopted this year, hopefully in June.
One of the greatest challenges the human race is confronted with is that of global warming and climate change, which is mainly caused by emission of dangerous gases, with exhaust gas known to pollute the air more often due to the increase in demand for the use of motor vehicles. In the world at large, Ghana has a lot of work to do to achieve SDG goal of ensuring good health and well-being. Henry Kwesibedu's report for Joy News.
The ban on drumming and noise making is in full force, and not even the presence of the First Lady, Rebecca Kwadwo, at an event would let the Wolome and Name tone it down. And Adame reports how chiefs also present at the commissioning of the Rebecca Pediatric Intensive Care Unit at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital registered their protests when the audience clapped. Here's her report.
At any event, it's normal to clap when a guest is introduced.
Mrs. Rebecca Kwadwo.
That was exactly what the audience at the commissioning of the new Rebecca Pediatric Intensive Care Unit was doing when the chiefs were introduced.
Nana Adede Akwodeng Keteku. Nana Wopeyo Dadechu. Na Akuya Mempe Mehwasem. Na Wow.
This prompted the MC to plead for the chiefs to allow for some clapping.
I would have to plead on behalf of all of us who are not accustomed to Ga Adangbe culture that you pardon us in view of the excitement and the euphoria that we just clap for today. We know that it runs counter to the tradition of the Ga Adangbe at this particular time. Respectfully, I ask for your pardon. Thank you.
But not everyone remembered this piece of advice, so the clapping and noise making continued, prompting another caution, this time by the health minister.
The MC has pleaded with Nime Name that they should allow us to do clapping and a little bit of noise. But I also plead that we bring down the tone a little bit in respect of culture and tradition.
In the end, a drumming and poetry recital segment on the program was limited to only the recital.
Some civil society actors in the cocoa sector insist that cocoa production and expansion in the country is contributing 80% of agricultural deforestation. The group's position sharply debunked statements made by Cocoa Board CEO Joseph Boahin Edu that cocoa farmers are not depleting Ghana's forest cover. The group called on the Cocoa Board CEO to get acquainted with the research from the Forestry Commission, which supports their position. They want Cocoa Board to clarify its stance and also identify ways of reversing deforestation in cocoa growing areas. If Evans Jimmy reports.
A recent Global Forest Watch report indicates that between 2017 and 2018, Ghana's rate of deforestation rose by 60%, the highest in the world. Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform said the rampant deforestation is caused by illegal activities such as encroachment into forest reserves. According to the group, recent statement by Cocoa Board CEO Joseph Boahin Edu that he does not subscribe to the thinking that cocoa farming causes deforestation is unfortunate. Convener for the group, Owusu Adey, said the CEO's position on the issue is flawed.
A recently reported statement of the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board sought to shift the blame of cocoa-driven deforestation to timber loggers. Speaking in Switzerland to a group of chocolate manufacturers, the Cocoa Board CEO is quoted as saying, and I quote, "Though cocoa have been planted on lands in Ghana which in the past were reserve forest, the activities of lumbering companies reduced the forest before cocoa farmers converting the depleted vegetation into cocoa farm," unquote. He further stated that, and I quote, "So in effect, it is not cocoa farmers who cause deforestation, but now the general idea is that cocoa is causing deforestation. I beg to differ," unquote. These assertions by the CEO of Cocoa Board appears to indicate that cocoa farmers only go into the forest after loggers have already removed some trees, and therefore cocoa farmers or cocoa production cannot be said to be causing deforestation. In response to this unfortunate statement, the Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform wishes to debunk the following misunderstanding created by the CEO of the cocoa.
The group also mentioned that government statistics shows that cocoa is a leading driver of deforestation. Hence, they are baffled by Joseph Boahin Edu's stance on the matter.
The fundamental problem with the CEO's argument stems from the confusion between deforestation and forest degradation. There is a difference between forest degradation and deforestation, and being able to differentiate between them is crucial for unambiguous communication and for strategic planning purposes. There are situations that it becomes very important to know the differences between these two terms and apply them appropriately, and this is one of those situations. The simplest differentiation between deforestation and degradation can be found on the EFI website. The CEO's statement, or the CEO cannot confuse these two very similar but different phenomenon. So there is a difference between degradation and deforestation, and we need to differentiate between the two.
Ghana Civil Society Cocoa Platform aims to advocate and influence cocoa sector policies and programs.
Reservoirs ensure water is available, especially in times of dire need. The challenge, however, arises when users inadvertently leave the commodity to overflow and waste away, resulting in shortages at a crucial moment. Pupils of Prempeh Basic School in Kumasi are providing a solution by developing a water level detector. On Tech Thursday, Law FM's Kwesi Debra speaks with the children on how the technology works.
Determining the level of water in this container is very easy. What about an opaque and closed container like this polytank? Unless you're using the method I call knocking. Can you hear that? Indeed, the top is empty whilst the bottom is filled with water. Oh, because the water down there is swallowing bit of the sound. But can you do this for the next 30 minutes? Maybe you can, but I certainly can't.
Nowadays, a lot of homes in Ghana, especially homes that have overhead tanks, suffer a lot of problems. That is, when they are pumping water to the tank, they have no idea where the water has reached in the tank, which leads to overflowing of water.
Master Kelvin Obeng and his colleagues set up a simple machine comprising a resistor, transistors, cables, and LED bulbs.
The yellow light is on, indicating that the water is at the bottom of the tank. The blue on indicating that the water is half full, which will alert the user that he or she should get ready to turn off the pump. When it's red and the buzzer too is sounding alarm, it means that the tank is full with water, so the user should turn off the pump to avoid overflowing of water.
The children say they are working on a system to cut water flow automatically as soon as the red LED light is activated. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deb.
We bring you the second dose of business with Sandra Afin. Stay tuned. I am Israelite. Thank you very much for watching. You have a good night.